What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with Dark Hey Outpost, and after a record-setting week for The Last of Us Part 2, there has been a massive drop-off in sales for the second week. Now, this is probably due to a few things, but one of them is definitely the fact that people are finding out about this story as hard as they try to protect it with false advertising, with lies from Neil Druckmann and Naughty Dog. The story is out there and it is incredibly divisive. So many people hate this game and there is virtually no replayability for it. So we're going to take a look at the sales, compare it to other sales numbers so you guys can kind of see why this number is so massive. And we're going to get a couple people's viewpoints on why the first game is so much more rewarding to play than this one, specifically from PewDiePie himself. But let's take a look, first of all, at this Metacritic score, still creeping up, 4.8, nearly 100,000 reviews on this thing. So many people just despise what Naughty Dog chose to do with this story and all the other things, including the agenda that does seem forced into this game. But as you can see, The Last of Us 2 sells more than 4 million copies. That was the big headline a couple days ago. 4 million copies worldwide. You know, something like Spider-Man PS4, for instance, that sold 3.3 million copies worldwide that first week. So that was a big number for them to hit. But let's take a look at the second week sales, because that is what we want to know. We all know everyone can be tricked. Everyone was tricked with this marketing that didn't listen to YouTubers, that didn't listen to what had happened with the leaks. They went in and they thought, this is going to be a game about Joel and Ellie. Surprise, surprise, not exactly. You can see right here, Last of Us Part 2 retains top spot in UK charts. But the important thing to see right here, last week, The Last of Us Part 2 debuted on top of the UK charts for boxed video game sales in pole position, enjoying the biggest launch ever for any PS4 exclusive in the region. Though it has seen an 80% drop in physical sales this week, it manages to hold on to its position. 80%. Now they go on to say, you know, it's not necessarily unprecedented because it had such a big opening. But when we go to something, the example I just gave, guys, Spider-Man PS4. Let's see how it does in the UK. For the second week in a row, Marvel's Spider-Man has topped the UK video game sales charts despite competition from Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So a highly anticipated sequel comes out the same week as the second week for Spider-Man. It manages to only drop 42%. Look at that. Impressively, the web-slinging PS4 exclusive only dropped 42% in sales since its record-breaking opening weekend, and there are no signs to suggest sales are slowing down. We need to make this comparison, guys. 42% drop-off for Spider-Man PS4, 80% for The Last of Us Part 2. This is because exactly what we've been saying all along. If they had been honest about the marketing for this game, if they had been honest about swapping Joel and Jesse, if they'd not tried to tell us that Ellie and Joel were going to be interacting in present day in this game, we heard it from Neil Druckmann himself. Listen to what Neil Druckmann says. My God, this man is a piece of shit. He shamelessly admitted he false advertised this product. And yes, right here, let's listen to this interview with Neil Druckmann when he's talking to Greg Miller.
Because we did so much to try to protect the story, right? Including putting fake shots in trailers and swapping skins on characters and recording a different line with Troy.
Exactly. Fake skins, swapping skins, a fake line with Troy. We did all of these things to protect the story. Now, one person may say, yes, they're just protecting the story. Another person may say, that is false advertising, because you know damn well if they had advertised this as a game with Abby and Ellie, it wouldn't have sold 4 million. You can't even make an argument about that. There is no way it would have happened. People bought this game because it was a follow-up to The Last of Us, to the story of Joel and Ellie. That is what they wanted to see in this game, and you tricked them into thinking that's what it would be. But it shouldn't really be a surprise that this is doing this. Look at this. I'm going to show this video as we're scrolling through. These are an endless stream of copies of The Last of Us 2 that are up for sale. Now, I do think this is in Japan somewhere. I believe that's where it's at. Look at all these individual copies that are up for resale for The Last of Us Part 2. Would this happen? This doesn't happen when it's so easy to find a game at GameStop. Anyone that's wanted to go find a used copy of The Last of Us Part 2, they just walk up to GameStop, it's right there. Because people hate this game. It is so divisive. You do have the people out there that love it, and like I've said a couple times, if you love it, great. I'm happy that you love this game, but unfortunately, for a huge number of people, they despise it. And there it is. We finally got through the 43 seconds of just scrolling through a straight wall of The Last of Us Part 2 used copies. People don't like this game. People don't want to play it again. They want to get rid of it. They want to be able to return it. Even though in some parts of Australia, JB Hi-Fi, you're not even able to return this game. But I wanted to take a listen to something PewDiePie said. Because, everyone's been watching PewDiePie a lot during his playthrough. Because a lot of people think he's a guy that just has a normal take. He's just a normal dude, right? And one of the interesting things about PewDiePie is that he was a huge fan of the first game. So we have here clipped together footage of PewDiePie talking about the first game, 6-7 years ago, and now talking about the second game. Let's take a listen to what he says.
Love the atmosphere of this game. I can tell for sure that I will replay this game once I'm done playing with it, and I feel like that's a good criteria of a game right there.
And even the people that really like this game, I would say a good majority, even the ones that are giving it really high scores, say that this game's not fun, that it is not something that you want to play again.
One of the best AAA titles that I played in maybe in fucking since at least 5 years.
And again, this is him raving about The Last of Us, about the original game.
Definitely. Like, you can't just compare any other AAA title with this. All we get is fucking Halo and Call of Duty, and it's like, you can't compare that to this. Okay, there are some other titles. Whatever, fuck it. AI, not so good. Glitches, bad. But that's it. That's like the only bad thing about the game. So, I'm giving it 9 pills out of 10. I want to give it 10, but just because of those reasons, I'm sorry, I just don't.
Would I play it again?
Now we fast forward to just a day or two ago when he finishes The Last of Us Part 2 after it being a grind to get through it. He didn't even want to play it if he hadn't been streaming it. Let's hear what he says.
Again, no, I probably wouldn't. I don't really see a point. I wouldn't.
Look at his face.
Man. Man.
That is the face of disappointment. That is the face of someone who has just had to suffer through this game.
They tried something different, and I can respect that, and I just don't think it really worked, to be honest. They could have. I feel like they needed more people's input on it. I mean, maybe this is what they really felt strongly about, and fair enough, but I think small adjustments could have really made a huge difference. Like playing Abby in the beginning, the way it played out, even the character development. This is really dark, weird ending where Ellie loses everything. It's just like, okay, give it a rating.
God. Let's hear the rating.
Probably like a 6 out of 10.
Pretty fair.
Would make sense, if that matters.
Pretty fair. So PewDiePie gave it a 6 out of 10, which is higher than a lot of people expected him to give it. I think that, like everything, when you look at these Metacritic reviews, I think you really have to balance it out. There's tons of people out there that are spamming 10 out of 10s. There's tons of people out there that are spamming zeros. I think with all that we're seeing, something mixed is much more likely. Like I said, I've watched the entire game, and I was going to give the rating a 4 out of 10, but of course Metacritic wouldn't allow me to post it at that time. That's the score I was going to give. I think 4, 5, 6 is somewhat realistic. What becomes ridiculous is when you see all of these games journalists just spamming it 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, when you know that is not the freaking case, and that's why we don't trust games journalists. But there is no doubt that this game is so divisive. That 80% drop-off is huge, especially compared to the only 42% drop off of Spider-Man PS4. We're going to see if this thing has legs. We all know that you can get away with a big hype and get a big first week. We see that in movies all the time, but it's the second week that's telling. It's the third week. How does it track? We're about to find out if this is going to continue to track with that record-breaking pace, or if it's going to fall back because so many people hate this game. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I will talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.